just about sailing September 2019, the second one in September 2019. So what's going on then? Why am I putting out a second one? Well, basically because we're kind of trotting along with lots of little jobs. As you know, if you've watched from the beginning of the year, I'm kind of monitoring my human battery, as it were, because of a health problem which I don't know if it's being fixed or not, to be quite honest, but 45 minutes a day is kind of manageable, and that's what I'm sticking to for the time being. It's surprising how much progress you can make by taking little chunks. So I'm going to cover putting the headlining up, which has been hanging down for ages, and I really wanted to do this. I hate this job. It's probably the worst DIY job that I do. I don't like contact adhesives. If you get it wrong, which I did in a few places, it all looks horrible. It's such a relief not to have this hanging down. Also, Lucy finishing off the mock-up for the holding tank, because I really want to crack on with that. But I thought I'd make a little note about, DIY and boat DIY, and the fact that I say this is not a DIY channel and then I do nothing but DIY. It's basically because that's what needs to be done at the moment. And I thoroughly believe that, particularly nowadays with the internet, with YouTube and stuff, it's possible to watch people doing stuff and sort of gain experience from that. I think you still need to make your own decisions, and I would urge anybody who's watching this video to read the comments, make their own decisions. I am not an expert. And I want to relate this to something completely different that happened recently. I don't watch very much television, I really don't. When I was living on board the boat in Watchet, I didn't have a TV and didn't miss it. I do have a TV, occasionally switched it on, and the screen went blank. And I thought, oh, can I be bothered to fix this because I really don't need it? But there's something in me which is this kind of challenge of, let's see if we can fix it without buying a new one. And I think the principles are exactly the same. If you approach things methodically, slowly, use the internet resources out there, there's no reason why you shouldn't fix anything, including a sailboat. So anyway, so this is what happened with sorting out the TV, which I say the screen just went blank. Sound stayed on, but the screen. So why am I standing in the dark with the telly on? You can hear the sound. I've spent a couple of hours looking at the internet and forums and various things, and because the sound's on, that's a good sign. There could well be a picture coming through, but it's not lit up because the backlight might have broken, and there is a way of figuring out whether the backlight is working. I need to put the control on settings, which will bring a menu down, and if I'm probably going to have to take the head torch off. I don't know if this is going to work. If the actual TV, if the signal is working, I should be able to see. Oh, now hang on, I should be able to see some words in there.
Foundation, moisturiser, lip gloss, palm oils and all these things and thousands of others.
There you are, can you see that? That's the menu. So that means that the TV itself is actually working. There's either a power supply problem to the backlight, or one or more of the backlight LEDs has gone out. Now the first question you need to ask yourself is, am I comfortable with the mains plugged in and an open circuit board like that? If you've not done this sort of stuff before, don't try it on an open TV. I suppose I was raised in a generation where I remember making my first guitar effects pedal to make me try and sound like Jimi Hendrix, and not only did I have to do all this wiring and stuff myself, but I actually had to make the printed circuit boards myself by dipping it into acid and etching it and all of that sort of stuff. Didn't make me sound like Jimi Hendrix, so I'd obviously put in a wrong capacitor somewhere. But anyway, let's measure this. Now I don't think I can see anything which tells me what the voltage should be. I would certainly expect it to be DC and less than 100 volts. So let's put this as the negative and this is a positive, and it's coming in at sort of 70. I think the fluctuation is because I'm not holding it particularly well. So what that means is there is DC power going into here, going to the LED. So the next thing to do is to actually test the LED. So I need to figure out somehow how to get the back off, and this is always the tricky thing. It's these little clips and things. Do you take the whole screen off? Do you just take the back off? There's millions of screws and things, And I can't find anything on YouTube that looks like this telly, so let's see if I can find a document or something. Good news and bad news. I've found one YouTube channel that shows how to take this back off, and this is not quite my TV, but it's exactly the same. I think it's just a different model of it. The bad news is that it's actually in Russian. I think it's Russian. And I don't speak Russian. So here we have the LED strips, 3 of them, and my understanding is they're a bit like Christmas lights, in as much as if any one of them goes out, they all don't work. This is pretty much paper. Really, again, you just need to be so... I talk as if I know what I'm doing, I haven't got a clue, but the general principle with these things. Clips. Right, back to my Russian video. So this is called a super LED tester, and I have literally no idea how this works, except my understanding is it makes sure it doesn't wreck the LEDs whilst you're testing if they light up. So I think it's just putting a DC current in here. So let's start with this bottom bar here, see if any, all or some of them light up. Okay, so it comes on, so they all light up. Let's try the middle one. If any, some or all of them. Oh, none of those light up. That's interesting. I was expecting a few to be out, not all of them to be out. And let's try this top one. And all of those come out. You can see actually it does look as if they're wired in series. So with that one not working, these two aren't going to work. There must be a better way of actually wiring these things up, wouldn't you have thought? But anyway, look, super LED tester. It was super. Tell me what I needed to know. Let's switch it off, get onto eBay and order some more of these. Right, good old eBay, matching up all the various serial numbers of the screen of this and various things. Ordered these. I've got 2 A's and a B, which is the same as that. These are not LG ones, these are Bart's, B-A-R-Z, not sure where they're made, so taking a bit of a risk, but these were £35 as opposed to £75 for the LG ones. The technique seems to be to get it on these 2 ledges, which are sort of slightly raised, and just very, very, very gently kind of wriggle it forward. It's not a race, it doesn't matter how long it takes. Time to put the new ones of these on, and it's just double-sided tape. It's 3M tape, so we know it's very, very sticky, so important to get it in the right place. And there's an A and a B. A, B, A. Now, as I've mentioned a few times, I don't like contact adhesives because you just have to get it right. I much prefer adhesives that will set over time, and this is obviously a contact type adhesive, so I have to line it exactly right before putting it down. This is not as tricky as doing the head lining, but still not something that I particularly like, lining it with little divoty things. There we go. Right, probably don't really need to do this because these should be working. So take these covers off. But I thought I'd use my super lead tester again. They're all working obviously. This is the one that wasn't working. There's no reason why this shouldn't be okay now. Yeah, that's working. Right, so I already know I'm in a better position now because these are all working. Probably didn't have to do that, but it's just nice to do that before putting everything else back on. I can't think of any reason apart from having a faulty one of these, so I'm feeling relatively optimistic at the moment. I'm going to pull this back together. I'm not going to show the video of that. Right, so it's all back together, plugged in, back in the corner. So I don't watch TV very much, but pleased I managed to fix it. Let's see. I'm expecting this to work. I'm expecting this to be absolutely no problem at all, by the way. Switch it on. Well, I've got a picture. That's more than I used to get before.
Hiya. I just thought I'd pop in and make sure she's all right. Chest hasn't got any worse. Look, she's been fine.
Oh, daytime TV. Right, okay. Tell you what, let's see what's on YouTube. Let's go to the smart TV option.
What's the problem exactly?
Hi guys, welcome back to yet another fun DIY sailboat refit video here about good old Ati. By the end of this
That's more like it. Right, okay. I'm going to sit back and enjoy this, and you carry on doing whatever it was you were doing. Right, now part of doing that job was, I think you need, particularly if you're restricted in how much you can do each day, you need at least 3 things in your life. You need to get a sense of enjoyment, fairly obvious, achievement, also fairly obvious, and connectedness with other people. Not necessarily all of those things at the same time. I mean, I didn't get a huge amount of enjoyment out of doing this headlining, but a huge amount of achievement. And I did out of fixing the television. To do something like that kind of gives you confidence you can do other things. So anyway, somebody else who's going to get a huge amount of achievement is Lucy, from finishing off. So she'd never done any woodworking less than a couple of weeks ago. So let's just have a look at this. Right, you may remember that I said I was going to do the outside varnishing and Lucy was going to do the internal stuff. Apart from this tiny little bit that Lucy did most of and I did a little bit before, I haven't done anything on the washboards, so I really want to do the washboards today to catch up. Well, not all today, because I'm thinking of varnishing them, putting a clear coat of epoxy on first. And Lucy is carrying on with the rest of the holding tank, because we want to get that sorted out. So, oh, did it escape from you? Yeah, we know it's your handiwork because we know it's got your name on it.
I'm a bit scared now.
There you go, it's buzzing.
Right, let's see how badly this can go wrong. What is happening? This is fun.
Is it pushed all the way in?
Oh wait, here it comes. It had to get to the end. Oh, it's going to take forever. This is more than 15 seconds.
So work faster, looks fine.
Holy hell, that is fast. Are you like stuck now? Not that much. It was quite stuck. I shouldn't have wiggled it so vigorously.
This isn't the actual holding tank, you do know that, don't you?
And there you have an almost holding tank. Da-da!
That's brilliant. Did you do the top, or are you going to do the top?
I was going to do the top. Do you want me to do that today?
No, you don't have to.
Good, because I'm tired.
Okay. Let's do a little bit of a video wrap up on it. So here's the deal. There's an edge all around here, and there's going to be a support attaching onto the back of this, and underneath there is a kind of a shelf. And I'm going to try out the various fittings and so on. This, as you've seen from the cardboard one, goes underneath there. Get all that sorted. Make these supports that attach onto the boat. This will get screwed on probably with coach bolts. Get the top over. So this will be completely fitted and so on before the actual one is made. So Lucy's going to do the lid, and that's brilliant. It gives me a really good idea of. That's a substantial weight actually. We have to weigh them.
Yeah, because this isn't even. Well, the reel would be heavier.
I think so. I need to check that. Although this is pretty solid. Have you got the tape measure?
Yeah.
Or the ruler? Oh, this is thicker than it's going to be. This is a lot thicker. This is 20 millimetres. It's going to be 12 millimetres, so it's going to be about 2/3 of this. But I mean, it's got a capacity of about 50-60 litres, so it's going to hold a lot of stuff. It needs to be fairly solid, and you don't want this one leaking, do you? Right, there we go. Good. Right, now then, let's flip a coin, see who tidies away. Heads. What?
I don't even like
You made the, look at all the mess you've made.
That is true, actually. Compare the station with that.
Yeah, hang on. So who tidies away? Let's look at the mess we've got over here compared with my little workstation here. I think we know the answer to that. So there we are, achievement, enjoyment and connectedness all in the same thing. Okie doke, so let's go on to this thing, which is what I was really dreading to do, but really absolutely needed to do. Right, so one of the jobs that's been kind of annoying me because I've been putting it off is I'd only glued up, when I put the windows in, I'd only glued up half of the vinyl lining because I wanted to see where I might need to put some pad eyes in to make permanent mounts for the habitant. But what I've decided is these are annoying me so much, I'm actually going to glue these up now. And then if a pad eye does come through, I can just cut a piece out of here. It's going to be just as easy. One of the things I do need to do, above the galley, just here, there's a piece of wood that you might remember I stripped out, and it was kind of there, I think, as a bit of heat protection rather than for anything else, and also to screw this on, which is the aluminium sort of heat deflector thing. So in true style, what I've done is cut out a piece of cardboard to fit. Oops, other way up. Piece of cardboard to fit. I've got some 10mm marine ply. I shall cut that. Marine ply, round it off nicely with a router. Right, so I wouldn't normally show this because it's quite boring, but basically taking my template, drawing out on here, and the reason for showing it is that it's going to be the first time of using my new toy, my new thing. I've been meaning to get one of these for a very long time. That'll do nicely. Right, taking peel ply off. What peel ply does, people say it does two things. Firstly, the amine blush comes to the surface, so when you peel it off you don't have to wash off the amine or amine blush. Secondly, it gives you a surface which is epoxy and paint friendly because it's about the same as rubbing it down with 80 grit. But the other thing it does is it gives you quite literally more enjoyment than bubble wrap. Or what were you saying? Pulling the... Well, you haven't done it yet. It's your first time.
Yeah, I know. Pulling like a thing off the screen, like the plastic protective
or
thing.
pushing your finger through it. So, if you want people to help you with their boat, just promise them that you'll let them do the peel pie. So I'm just going to let, and this is on both sides, so I'm just going to let Lucy see it and see what she says.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Well, it's quite difficult. Ooh. Ooh.
You can put your hand on the wood, don't worry about that.
That's fine. Wow.
How good is that?
Ah, this is the best day ever. More. Where's
good.
the next one?
And feel that. Doesn't that feel great?
That's lovely.
So yeah, you are. Sense of achievement for me for having done that. Connectedness, doing it with other people, and enjoyment.
That's great.
I'll let you take it off when we do the big piece for the holding tank. I'll let you peel that off as well. Right, and when I took the old piece of wood off, it wasn't stuck in many places, but it's stuck fairly solidly. And there's a few bits where whatever it was used to stick it, it's a bit crumbly, and the old wood is still there. So I need to flatten that off before I can glue the new one in. Right, so if ever there was a time to have worn a Tyvek suit, that was it. So one shower later, and I've stuck it up with the good old epoxy 406. And these little post things, these are brilliant. I've used these for a few things. I think they're to put your net curtains up and they sort of expand and then lock into place. But obviously I don't need a huge amount of pressure, but they're extremely easy to use. I use these, you might have seen them in the last one, in the holding tank, because I used them to sort of hold up the wooden holding tank. Very, very useful. And then the battery died. So you obviously can't stop and swap a battery in the middle of doing this stuff. So not my favourite job, not the deepest, not the neatest job in the world, but at least it's not hanging down and baggy anymore, so I feel happy about that. This stuff in the corner is going to be sorted out differently with trim and stuff, but anyway, yeah, huge sense of achievement doing that. I really don't like a single contact adhesive, and I really don't like doing headlining. So there we go, lots of little things, still lots of projects ongoing, but things are moving in the right direction. A lot of the projects I'd already done sort of 80% to, and it was the tidying up bits, and it really does feel, it just feels great sitting underneath here with the fumes coming through, because I've literally just done this, sitting under here, and it's not all sort of flopping around, and although it's not a brilliant job, it's way beyond good enough, so extremely happy with that. Right, see you possibly later in September. Got the boat show coming up, I'm hoping to go to that, not sure if I will. And yeah, let's crack on with some of the other jobs.